Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy, it's a pleasure, it's an honor to be out here once more in nature this morning. And it's been quite a very rainy morning. I just have to come here and sit under the shed, bringing you this message of self-realization, this message of emancipation, this message that would set you free. For this message is pointing you to look inwardly so that you can be able to discover your true identity, which is your divinity. That's the reason why I want to speak to you concerning if any two shall agree in touching anything, that it shall be done. Now, when it comes to Christianity or it comes to the Bible, the very first thing I want you to know is that the Bible is not a religious book. For the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically. For the Bible is not literal, neither is the Bible secular history. Now, if you disbelieve me, can you tell me of one thing that was done in the Bible that was a false psychological or false thought? Or could you tell me of one thing that you can say to me that isn't false thought, that isn't false psychological, that isn't false mental? Also, if you're religious and you believe that the way how the Bible was taught to you, that is correct, and you should be religious and seeking to be spiritual instead of knowing that you are a spirit having a human experience, could you also tell me of one thing that any preacher in any part of this world can teach you or say to you that isn't false mental, that isn't false thought? You can't. Therefore, whether you agree or disagree with me, you're actually proving me right. When I say that the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically. Therefore, let us look at what it really means when it says if any two shall agree in touching anything. Now, the very first thing you have to know to understand that is that everything that you see without or outside of you is a projection of what is within you. So many people believe that they are just this small being living in this great vast world, not knowing that this vast world that you see is only a magnifying, a projection of what is downloaded within. For Ecclesiastes chapter 3:11 tell you that God has placed the world in the mind of man. Everything is within the mind. Everything is downloaded within man. Everything is within. Everything is taking place within. So everyone that is without is actually yourself being pushed out. And that is why it tells you in the Bible that the ark had 3 levels, which is your physical level, your psychological level, and your spiritual level, and tell you that Noah was the 8th. You, the invisible one, operating the ark. So when it says that everything was within, it is teaching you of the positive and the negative. It is teaching you the law of polarity. So when it says if any two shall agree in touching anything, it is speaking about you. It is not you and another person, basically. It is speaking about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Whatever you perceive within yourself and you believe it, you're in agreement with it, you affirm it, and then you act upon it, that it will manifest, it will come to pass. That's the reason why it tells you that you shall decree a thing and it shall come to pass. And also tells you that you must call those things that be not as though they are or as though they were. And in Hebrews 11 tells you that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, showing you that everything that is seen, it was once unseen. So everything came from the world of the invisible to the visible. So there's an invisible substance that you must activate within yourself by believing in it and do the actions towards that which you believe. That was the same process used to bring the automobile, to bring money, to bring clothing that we are wearing, to bring everything that we depend upon. Yet everyone claims that God is their provider. They claim that God is their healer. They claim all of these things. But when we look at the things that we use as our wants or as our needs, when we look at how they come, they were all false thought. They were false imagined. So this agreement where it says if any two shall agree in touching anything, you have to understand that your subconscious mind is like the earth. And whatever you sow in the subconscious mind, it's going to bring back to you. And it's also like the womb of a woman. Whatever is sown in the womb of a woman, she will bring back whatever seed is sown in her womb. And whatever seed is sown in the earth. And whatever seed is sown in your psychological mind, or your psychological being, or your garden, which is the Garden of Eden, which is the mind. Whatever you sow there, that is what you would reap. That's the reason why the Bible tells you, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And that you must not be conformed, but you must be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So you have to be in agreement with the invisible. So you be invisible, the visible you have to be in agreement with the invisible you. So it doesn't just speaking about two people. Because most people refer to it as two people. But it could be one person agreeing with the God that is within. Or agreeing with the inner man. So when the inner man and the outer man comes together as one, that's what the Bible is telling you. So when it says if any two shall agree. Now you have to understand spirituality, 1 + 1 is 1. So it says if any two is speaking about the inner man and the outer man. As long as they agree in touching anything, once you hold to it, you have to understand that it has a gestation period. So you have to understand the law of mentalism, you have to understand the law of gestation, you have to understand the law of cause and effect, you have to understand the law of correspondence, you have to understand these laws that governs humanity and governs the universe, and work with it. So when you say if any two shall agree in touching anything, it's not you going to church and join a religion and try to be in agreement with someone else in your religion, but you believe in within yourself. Is you trust in the invisible you. I'm not saying that you can't agree with someone else. You can agree with someone else also, but the main essence of the scripture is teaching you to look within. It's teaching you to believe in yourself. That's what it is teaching. It says if any two shall agree in touching anything. It is telling you to trust the invisible you. To understand your subconscious mind. And to understand whatever you put in your subconscious mind, you're gonna get back. To understand that the law of life is giving and receiving. That's what it is teaching you. It's all about giving and receiving. Look around you. Everything exists on the level of giving and receiving. All of nature is about giving and receiving. We give off carbon dioxide and the plant give off oxygen and we take it. It's giving and receiving. If any two shall agree, it means alignment. We have to align with nature. We have to align with everything. We have to see the oneness. That's what it's teaching oneness. Agreement. So most people look at when they say if any two and they look at two. Instead look at agreement. It's agreement it is dealing about. It is oneness it is speaking about. Of one heart, one mind, one aim, one desire, one understanding. That's why if humanity will come under one aim, one desire, one goal, the Bible says there is nothing that is impossible for them not to do. That's why he talk about the Tower of Babel. And say they was building this tower. And there was one language. Which is what? There's only one universal language. If we can get in touch with that one universal language and understand that there's only one universal language, and that universal language is the language of consciousness. For the all is consciousness. And understand that God is life and life is God, and that God is in everyone. And that we can create our reality consciously. If we be in alignment, if we live our vibration, if we understand that everything is energy, vibration, and frequency. This is the oneness it is talking about. When you say if any two shall agree, the visible and the invisible, the outer you, the inner you. There's the inner wall, there's the outer wall, there's the wall of the invisible, there's the wall of the visible. The visible is the expression of the invisible. So that's why I'm speaking about my brothers and my sisters. So you don't have to join a church, you don't have to be a part of no religion. All you need to do is believe in yourself. Trust your own human imagination to be the creator in man, and learn to create your reality consciously by looking inwardly. So that being said, my brother and my sisters, I want to thank you very much. And I want to say, if this message has been resonating with you, I'm encouraging you to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, or to like, comment, and most of all, share this message. If it is blessing you, share it. If it makes sense to you, share it. Okay? So, this message, as I always say to you, it is the single-eye message of self-realization, of which Matthew 6:22 says, if your eye be single, your whole body be full of light. So I always teach people to practice the single eye by learning to see things in their mind's eye, by going to bed more consciously, by finding a quiet place and go into meditation and create your desire consciously. Then you will know what it means when they say if any two shall agree. So this single eye message of self-realization, of which Matthew 6:22 speaks of, when you have the experience, you will understand why they even have the single eye up on the American $1. And then you would understand why I always put my hand on my crown chakra. Because hadn't it been that I would have awakened within myself and bossed my crown chakra in another form, and understand the true meaning of Acts 2 when they were in the upper room and they were speaking a language, speaking in tongues, and they have tongues of cloven fire over their head. But it's only when you have the experience you come to realize what it's all about. And then you will understand that it is the rising of the S-U-N in a S-O-N, and that it is the dawning of a new day in your life. And that without the sun, as in the S-U-N, not the S-O-N as they told you. But without the sun, there's no life and there's no light. And without the human imagination, there isn't anything made that was made. Therefore, the sun parallels the human imagination, and the human imagination parallels the sun. And the sun is what powers all of humanity. Therefore, my brother, my sisters, I'm telling you to look inwardly and use your solar power, which is your mind power, to achieve your every desire. So with that being said, I want to say peace, love you all, I'm out.